It's 10:02, and how are you on a Wednesday night? If you should be watching live, the 19th, the 19th of February, or February, if you want to say that. Lots of people do. It's okay. 2025 here on the East Coast, the Hudson Valley, New York, where it's been far from horrific like some spots in terms of winter weather. My goodness, it was dirt cold in the Austin, Texas area yesterday and maybe today too. I forgot to ask my son when I was talking to him, but I mean, it was in the teens. It was in the teens. My name is Jack Willard. I thank you for joining us here. Please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Patrick Files was quick on the trigger tonight. How are you, Mr. Jack? I'm pretty good, pretty good. Better than I deserve. That's really the best response you could say. And I got that, of course, from Dave Ramsey, downtown William Brown, from Nagosius. Nago- Nagadocious, Texas. Was it cold there in Nagadocious, William? Deborah Lake. Hey, hello, hello. Welcome to you. 27 day here today. Pretty soon, before you know it, it'll be 97. But right now, it's cold. It's cold. Teresa Pinnell. Is that the right way? I think so. Good evening from Tupelo, Mississippi. Yeah, birthplace of the king of rock and roll. Very good. Very good. Hi, Jody Smith. Welcome to you. Brenda Noyce. Hello, Jack. Back in the hospital. You mean you're physically in the hospital now? Have kidney stones, left side, and stomach problems. So you're in the hospital watching us. And I can't remember your time zone. Brenda Sweeney, another Brenda right behind Brenda Noyce. Hey, Jack, snowing here in East Coast, Virginia. East Coast, Virginia? That's the name of your city, town, village? I've never heard of East Coast, Virginia. You learn something new every day. Well, that's a good thing if you do. That's a good thing if you do. Jody Smith, thank you so much for hitting the thanks button for $2. I have a financial report from 2024 to make. I'm not going to say everything, but um, uh, I did get my taxes completed today with Anna and got the federal tax and the state tax filed. We did. Tess J is here. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And Homer Overcash. It's just such a cool name you have there. Homer Overcash, once from the team of Homer and Jethro, who did that song, I think. Does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? Yeah. Hi, Jack from snowy Mooresville, North Carolina. This is wild. I have to admit, Homer, when we're talking about snow and North Carolina, and we've had snow well into Florida in January. If I have any Florida people on, let us know how it's doing where you are now. But I know Richard, who's probably not even here, because he's a working man. He's a working man. He shovels the coal as the train goes along to keep it chugging up the tracks. Oh my goodness! So another $2 from Jody Smith. Chi-Chi is here. And I think he's writing in a foreign tongue. Are you writing in a foreign tongue, Chi-Chi? Let's see. It's 2:05. It's February the 20th already where you are, huh? Okay. So, yeah, good afternoon in Australia, Wales. See, I just can't remember these short-term things. If you would have told me in 1959 Chi Chi. I could recite it like nothing. It would be easy, easy peasy, easy peasy. Greg Hines, also known as Gregory Hines. Hello, Jack, and all. Below freezing here in Alvin. That's Texas. Alvin, Texas is freezing. My goodness. And if I make any mention of those two words, the initials would be CC. There'll be a thing strapped to the video, which is cool. Fine. You know, that's all right. That's all right. Um, I don't think that YouTube works for me. I work for YouTube. So I understand. I understand. Um, Regina Terwilliger is here. Brenda Sweeney. Brenda Noyce, you got competition tonight. Sorry, Jack, on the east coast of Virginia. I see. Now, could you give us your exact city and your street address, please? I'm just joking. Deborah Lake. Has the lake frozen over, Deborah? She says, no, sir. I've got fire left in my engine. I got some fire left. Look out. I don't know why I did that, Brenda Sweeney. I probably shouldn't have tried moonshine for the first time just before air. Hazelnut moonshine. I love hazelnut. I don't know. I don't know. That's the one I try. No, I haven't. I haven't tried a sip of moonshine in my life. They sell it down on the corner. Down on the corner is a liquor store. It's owned by the people that own the restaurant. It's owned by the people that own the convenience store. It's owned by the people who own the barber shops. I said shops. That's right. Two different buildings on each side of the corner, and all owned by the same people, really. Same family. Robin Roman, hello, Jack and family. And let's see, Patrick Phyllis. My goodness, $49.99. You must be a little psychic, Patrick, because you knew. I think you knew deep down in your membrane, in your cerebellum, and also into your medulla that I needed encouragement. Start a new tax fund. Well, we have. We have. People talking that want me to go to Hot Springs. That'll probably be a GoFundMe page. I've never had a GoFundMe page, but that's serious money. I think I'd want to bring Karen because it wouldn't be the same if I wasn't with my Karen, so that's something to think about. Maybe there's somebody out there. Don't do it on the thanks button, please. Don't do it on the thanks button. If there's somebody out there who wants to give me a hug in Hot Springs, I'll be sweating. I'll be sweating if I'm there, and you will be too. So $49.99 on the thanks button. Thank you, Patrick Phyllis. I really appreciate that. I wasn't on Saturday. I was covered in an ice ball. We did a promo talking about that. It was interesting. I mean, it's still here because it's been so cold. The snow just glistens. It looks kind of pretty, but the poor deer, and we have a lot of deer because we feed deer, we feed raccoons, we feed feral cats, and I feel so bad for them. I'm always telling Buddy, the fluffy gray and white cat, come on in, come on in, come on in, pull up a chair as you come on in. I'm singing a parody of the former lead singer of the Gaither vocal band, Mark. What is his last name? He's so good. He has these sing-alongs. I must remember. I must use the dustbuster, put it right here, up here to my ear, and get all the dust out of my head. So thank you, Patrick, from the bottom of my heart. And Jody Smith hits the thanks button for another $1. And that would be great to get off to a good start because, wow. I'm going to say a few things tonight that are very honest about, the struggles of being a YouTube creator, especially when you're known for one topic, one topic. Um, and in a pre-recorded video, I'll expound on it even more. So thank you, Patrick, very, very much for hitting the thanks button. And Jody Smith, I think we're up to $5 here. If I'm not very good at math. Robin Roman, Brenda, sending prayers for speedy recovery. Amen. I did email Marty about a half hour before air. Has anybody heard from Marty Greco? I have not, and I should have been more diligent in the pursuit. Teresa Williams is here. Hi, Jack, from Memphis, Olive Branch / Mississippi. You're like in the burbs of Memphis? Is that what it is? Snow here. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to make us appreciate spring so much. But in Texas, you don't get much spring. Before you know it, they'll be out there on the sidewalk flipping the burgers right there on the sidewalk. Yeah, saying, oh, this is awful. But some people love it. Some people love it. My tax lady today, and I got stories to tell you. She said she likes to go to Florida in July. And I said to her, well, you can't go in February. So you got to say that. You got to say that because you cannot go. This is the season for tax preparers, It starts a little in January, but you get slammed in February. This is the people that are expecting money back, and then in March is very active. And then April, you got all the people that know they owe, and they don't even really, some of them know what the amount is, and they're not going to know in time to do anything. But if they are overwhelmed with what they owe, then start a payment plan with the IRS. Are they going to be history soon? I don't know. But remember, it used to be a flat tax. They take out so much, and that's it. That's it. No agents coming around your house. But of course, that would just create more of a slew of people trying to do under the table stuff, I imagine. I think it might trigger that, but I didn't really put a lot of thought into that. It just came to me, Some people, it just comes to them and they think, well, is this a good thought? Or does this make sense? No, let me just write it. I try not to do that. So I'm going down further here, and Homer is talking to TESS, saying it's disgusting there too. Getting a dusting of snow here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I saw the signs for it. I don't know if I was ever in there when I was in South Carolina, living there for a while. Didn't get above 35 all day. Yeah, same thing here. And I think it's going to be Monday. Saturday and Sunday will be a little better. Jody, $2 on the thanks button. The thanks button is right down there. Please hit it for any amount, whether it be 99 cents or $1, $2, $5. That would be so much appreciated. I got a lot of catching up to do in the month of February, and there's not a lot of month. I'll explain things in a minute. Jack, snow here to ice flooding waters. Snow here to ice flooding waters. That's not as catchy as Search for Tomorrow, Brenda. Search for Tomorrow's got more of a ring to it. All those soap operas are either going away or temporarily going away. I mean, what is Days of Our Lives streaming now? And or is it Days with Other People's Wives? I'm not sure. Maybe they'll change it to that, to get the ratings up. I don't know. But General Hospital, what are they doing? They're doing something over there. They've been around forever. It seems like we're losing the art of the soap opera. And, that's kind of sad in a sense. But in other cases, you expect XYZ to be watching soap operas. It all depends on that. They're not going to embrace it as much, And then, what was the big thing? Luke and Laura's wedding. That was the big thing in the 80s, was it? 80s. And then I find out Tony Gary's been married to a man for 30 years. There's nothing, I'm not saying anything against it. That's his decision. That's between him and God. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting, you know. Back in Rock Hudson's day, he had to get married to a woman, you know. He had to play a role. He had to play a role or his career would nosedive. How are you, Rob Smooth? Not to be confused with JB Smooth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nancy DeMarco was concerned for my whereabouts, and thank you, Nancy DeMarco. Fancy Nancy. Hello, Jack and family. I'm glad you're here. I have a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Walt Mills, find that song. He used to sing it on TBN every week, back in the days of Paul and Jan Crouch. I'm not too keen on Matt Crouch, by the way, but that's another story. I have a feeling there's going to be a major strike. Because if it's stride, that, you know, you may remind me of that song by Matthew Ward, right? Ain't nobody gonna break my stride. Ain't nobody gonna pull me down this time. That was a good song. Still is. Why would it not be now? In building the new church this year. All right, we can talk about that. As the world turns, with I don't want to confuse the actor's real name, Dr. Bob Hughes, right? Played by Don Hastings. Have I got that right? Eileen Fulton played Lisa somebody. Oh, they were on there for their lives. The world was turning, but they couldn't find their way out of that little town, which was actually in a very big town, Manhattan, you know. Here tonight, the wind chill will be 5 below, says Jerry Bridges, not Lloyd Bridges, not Todd Bridges, not Bo Bridges, and not, of course, the other Bridges. Yeah, everybody's got these weather reports. That's very odd, right, Jerry Bridges? That's very odd that it would be that cold in Tennessee. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? I know you had a warm up not too long ago, but it was obviously temporary. Brenda is trying to type 30 messages in the span of 7 minutes. Let's see if she can make it, gang. Let's see here. Well, I'm glad you are being entertained, Brenda Noyce. It'll get you off of, all the stuff that's been happening to you. Never shovel snow again, I would say. Never shovel snow again. There must be somebody that can do it for you. The lady next door went to clean off her car, and they always wait until, it's crusted on there. This goes back like 2 weeks now. And so she was doing that, and she's got to be around 70 or so, and she works 5 days a week as a bus monitor and everything. I've driven her to appointments several times for eye cataract surgery, and her husband, they're from Haiti. I've driven them to their appointments, and so she was out there for a little bit, but Andy became very concerned. He says, "Was she shoveling snow? Because I can't lift snow anymore. I've been told that I can't." Andy's the snow guy. I'll move the cars around, but Andy's the snow guy. And he says, I should have done their driveway. I should have done their driveway. There's other people helping them, so it's very confusing. But Andy goes right into their driveway where the cars are and stuff with the snowblower. And he'll do that forever now. He's let's see, 1, 2, 3, it's at least 4 houses in a row here he's doing now, so, and they pay him sometimes, they do. And the nice Haitian couple, they're always wanting him to fix a machine. They got lots of machines. Can you come over and take a look at the machine? And he has fixed several lawnmowers. He's very gifted, just like he is when he comes up here to do tech work. So there you go. General Hospital watched it every day in the late 70s, Tess J says. and highlights the virtual church of the disillusioned, depressed, and downtrodden in my favorite color. Well, my car is orange, so it's one of my favorite colors. Black is one of my favorites. Orange, red is big. Red is big. Red is over orange, I think. Purple is big too, especially, deep purple. Deep purple falls. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm sorry. I can't remember lyrics anymore. It's bad. Ted Richards is here. He emailed us earlier. 12 degrees in Vermont. The sap is frozen, ladies and gentlemen. Predicted to be about 4 degrees overnight. Yeah, this is happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere. And Jackie Organ joins us as well. It's summertime, da da da. Hot town, summer in the Australian city. Back of Jackie's neck is getting dirty and gritty, but don't worry. She has, what do you call it? Lumi. Do you have anybody have Lumi out there? I've got my man version of it right here, right here. Look at them. I love it. I have to say, I love it. It smells like Grandma's cedar chest, her hope chest. The chest, never saw much action because Grandma died a spinster. But Mando is terrific. This is like the bourbon leather, baby. And put this everywhere. Put it everywhere. Everywhere smell good with the Mando. I have to say, it's not cheap. It's not expensive. It's somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle, People think the government should be in the middle. That means get nothing done at all. Nothing done at all. We're not in the middle, and things are certainly getting done. Mando, yeah. It also comes in, something you can bring into the shower and what have you. Well, they have appropriately changed the name because they realize, it's been cold, so it's no longer. Now they're going to put this thing in the video now underneath. It's no longer climate change. I mean, it's climate change now. It's not global warming because we're having record cold temperatures. So, and we're having hurricanes, it seems like every September, October in Florida and stuff like that. So I please hear me, the powers that be. I do believe in climate change. I do believe in climate change. I don't believe in forcing everyone to drive an electric car. I've talked to people that own the dealerships. They're not selling. So since this is not, Russia, you have a choice of what kind of car you can drive. There are things we can do, but, in terms of the windmills and what have you, they haven't, they freeze up, they kill a ton of birds, they kill the whales in the ocean. How is that happening? Oh my goodness. I guess, they put them, they have to anchor them in the ocean, and whales have died and what have you. We've lost a lot of whales. Lost a lot of whales. Jody, thank you again. Well, he has shown up. Todd Bradshaw is here. The man that has many different looks. He can look like a guru, or he can look like a hottie. He can look like he should be wearing an orange robe with a throne, and that's what I saw when I went to the Ananda ashram. I saw Swami Muktananda. This is before I became a Christian, and my friends were all chasing Hinduism. So, of course, I said, well, if you're going to jump off into Niagara Falls, I'll go with you. I have to do it. You're my buddies. So I started studying Hinduism, and there I was at the Ananda ashram, and that's where the main teacher there was Swami Muktananda, and he comes out, and he's got a big stage there and a throne, and he's wearing a beautiful orange wool hat, orange tinted sunglasses, and an orange robe, and he's a master. He's capable of amazing miracles. Miracles. He could astral fly to a meeting in Sacramento in no time flat. He could levitate his body right off the ground and all that. And he is someone who has worked out his all his karma, his kundalini has been awakened, and he's only here because he needs to help poor slubs like us get through our many lifetimes. Could do anything, a man of miracles, except he couldn't even say hello in the English language. That was the one thing that stumped him, learning English. But don't worry, he had a pretty interpreter right next to him. And when he did leave his body again, for whatever reason, the pretty assistant became the guru. Now, how's that work? She took over the family business. Faith Lloyd is here saying hello to Richard. Is Richard here? Is it the Richard I think? That West Palm Beach hard worker? Got a lot of people, 52. Feels like more in terms of how fast this is going. I'm backtracking here. Hi, Teresa Lee Leonard. How are you? Hello, everyone. Good evening, Jack, says Todd Bradshaw. Hello, Tess, Ted, and everyone. Hope everybody is well. Yeah. So there you go, Jack E, saying it's summertime here in Australia. However, it's very cold here today, but the weatherman says it's going to be very hot with thunderstorms on Saturday and Sunday. So the season there is labeled summertime in Australia. I see. So what do you consider very cold, Jackie? Oregon? Jack, did you ever watch the what soap? I can't make out that word. I did watch a few of them. And if you're talking about the TV show Soap with Billy Crystal, the show that made him a star, I definitely watched that. That was wonderful. The whole cast was great. Nancy DeMarco says, gosh darn, that global warming. Okay. It's frigid. Well, it happens when you get older, What can you do about it? Lumi won't help you with that. No, it won't help you with that. Let me keep going here. So people saying hello to Richard, but I don't see him. I only see Ted Richards. Ted has many names, by the way. Here's Judy Wright, not Betty Wright. She's the cleanup woman. She really cleans up. She's like Mrs. Johnson on Dark Shadows, but I hope you have a bigger part than they gave poor Mrs. Johnson, who might have been Clarice Blackburn. She died in 1995. She might have been the best actress on the show. She was really terrific, but they only gave her, certain moments of fame. And she went on to write for a ton of soap operas, including One Life to Live, I think As the World Turns, all the New York ones. She was a writer as well. But, because she wasn't a raving beauty, she kind of looked a little like Margaret Hamilton. Because of that, she was limited in what they would give her. She's going to be the housekeeper or something like that, because don't they know beauty is only skin deep? It's only skin deep. Right, Ted? Oh, no, kidney stones. Yeah, that can be very painful. You got to take care of that. See if you can, do that without the surgery. Soap had the same actress that played Mona Robinson on Who's the Boss. Well, that's an obscure fact, Jody, because I don't remember her from Who's the Boss because I only watched every once in a while. I sure remember Mr. Tony Danza. I met him backstage of the Merv Griffin show. He was with his dad, and he seemed to be arguing with his father as they pulled away. I remember that. and it was a beautiful classic Corvette that he was driving. I think blue, a blue 60s style Corvette. Probably was a 60s Corvette. I saw him in the 70s, you know? So, yeah, I remember that. But of course, the actress that is most known for Who's the Boss is the woman that remembers, you can say, what happened on Tuesday. Somebody help me with her name. Tuesday, January 7th, 1973. And she can tell you. She's got, I'm not sure what the technical term for this photographic memory is, but she can do that. That woman. I know it. I know it. I know it. Oh, dear. That's long term. I should remember that. Things are not looking good. But let's see here. Shelley from Canada is here. She's got teddy bears with her. All kinds of teddy bears. Judith Light. Thank you, Fancy Nancy. Yes, Judith Light is the woman with this incredible gift to remember any given day. I don't know, when it would start in her life. She can tell you what was going on that day as she saw it happening. That's amazing. Amazing. Jane Justice. Hi, Jane Justice. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you. This is just a folksy kind of thing. I don't have any major headlines. Doesn't mean I don't have stories, but I don't have, 75 people in downtown Detroit abducted by gray aliens. Will they come back? I don't have that tonight. I just don't. And besides, if I did it, it wouldn't get hits. Bob Joyce abducted. If the pastor would be abducted and visit the gray aliens, even for one night, I could get a lot of views out of that. Melissa VD, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Melissa VD. The Young and the Restless. It reminds me of a song by the late Carmen Licciardello, who was a mega star in contemporary Christian music. I loved Carmen. I loved playing his music on the Sound of Life radio network. He had a catalog of some incredible songs, both everything from rap to rock to beautiful ballads. Really, really good. And he had a song where he says, it's not that they're young, it's just that they're restless. Because eventually the cast starts to age on The Young and the Restless. I realize they bring in new beauties, but some of the people that have become favorites are anything but young now, and they spend 20, 30, 40, 50 years. What, Eileen Fulton over 50 years on As the World Turns, I think she did. Yeah. So how are you, Melissa? Sweet Melissa. But I enjoyed Tony Danza more on Taxi than I did on Who's the Boss. He, to see him now, with the white hair and what have you. Of course, some people choose not to dye their hair. I get it. Oh, I'm glad to hear, Todd Bradshaw, that you remember Carmen. Yeah. Took my kids down to Nassau Coliseum before they tore it down. There's a new one there now. But since I worked for Sound of Life, I was able to get backstage passes, and we got to meet Carmen, and he signed some stuff for us, and because he didn't go out to the regular line, and it's like a full Coliseum. He filled that place. It's hard to do that. But he was a really nice guy. He was good friends with the late Carlton Pearson. Before I had Bob Joyce, I had Bishop Carlton Pearson, who walked away from his faith in Jesus Christ. And so I got my first 4,000 views on a video with Carlton Pearson. And that topic was hot for a while, and then it started to go. It didn't last anywhere near as long as the Bob Joyce topic is lasting. Did you see the plane that flipped over near me in Toronto? Well, of course, Shelley Belly. Yeah, we saw that. I think it was a number of factors there, but there is some concern now as they're showing some of the people that are doing TikTok videos that are pilots now. They look too young, too inexperienced. Uh, you know, um, if you're looking like a young Morgan Fairchild and you're the pilot, I don't know if I feel safe with you. Or if you're looking, I better change. I better get this in too. If you're looking like a young Scott Baio and you're the pilot, I don't know. I don't think you've had enough experience. I don't think necessarily you were the best possibility for the job. But then again, more and more people, do they want the pressure of being a pilot and maybe the chance of death by plane, having all those people's lives in your hands? I think um, a real problem. And air traffic controllers. Oh, you don't want to talk about a job of pressure. You want to talk about a job of pressure. That's no fun. Um, I think they're going to try to AI that out, but then your life is in the hands of a machine. But it's got to be one of the most stressful jobs in the world to be an air traffic controller. And if there's supposed to be four people in that tower and there's only two, and then one goes to the bathroom, oh boy, I'll tell you what, no room to make a mistake. Ted Richards is talking about an episode of Taxi, the episode where Jim, that's Christopher Lloyd, was taking his taxi license exam and kept going slower each time. The rest of the cast was telling him what a yellow light means. Yes. Who was the Asian comic that's said, I know in America, red means stop, green means go, yellow means go very fast. Go very fast. Ain't that the truth? I've done that a time or two. I have to admit, a little oopsie. You say a little oopsie as you're doing it, but don't miscalculate because it can be terrible. Because you're going, you obviously have sped up. Um, I think Tess is speaking to Todd Bradshaw in tongues now, but I'm not completely sure. I saw an interesting video. I'm not a big John McLaughlin fan, but I'm not going to say he's not a servant of the Lord either. But he's been around for a long time, and he's about as anti-Pentecostal as you can get. He does not believe the gifts of the Holy Spirit are for today. He has a strong conviction of that. With all the abuse you see in the Pentecostal church, I can understand the ambivalence. Spell ambivalence, Todd. Yeah, I can understand that, but I do believe the gifts of the Holy Spirit are for today. But I also believe that the human beings, are so capable of just turning it into a circus show. You know, we know that we should not be following mediums, but a word of knowledge can turn into the same thing. And when you go to talking about, I was watching, anybody ever watch Justin Peters here on YouTube? Justin Peters, he is not completely anti-charismatic, but he speaks against a lot of the chicanery he sees in the Pentecostal movement. People that appear on TBN these days, what's the pastor of the Bethel Church? He talks a lot about him and the guy that he has on. Guy is supposed to be coming up with, prophecy that's being given to him by God in the moment. I swear he's doing this. Even Justin Peters can't believe him. And he's calling out names. He's calling out names, and he's saying God's going to give you this woman and everything. He's literally holding up his phone and reading from it as he's giving this word of knowledge, a word of knowledge. Then you find out his staff or him talked to those people all before. It's like Peter Popoff. Oh my goodness, why would you do that? See, I would have to be 110% sure before I did anything like that. And I'm really skeptical. I got to be honest, I'm skeptical, but I would never want to get in the way of what the Holy Spirit is doing and label what the Holy Spirit is doing anything but the most pure, wonderful thing that a human being could ever take into their senses, you know? But this whole idea about you've got a lengthy broadcast schedule, you know, it's like if I don't have anything on Bob Joyce, I got to be honest, I don't have anything today. I don't have anything. I got some things percolating, but nevertheless, but I'm going to expect the Holy Spirit to give me something because I got 20 minutes to air. I got 20 minutes to air, and they're expecting this. I don't think the Holy Spirit works like that. Every time, 30 times a month, 20 times a month. What are your thoughts, guys? What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Todd Bradshaw? You're a man of wisdom. I know you are, and I'm not kidding. I know you are. I do not think that's a word. I could be wrong. Uh huh. How do you pronounce UHHH? If I was in England, I'd say H. Anybody in England say H? My mother used to say H. So I said H. Then the kids laughed at me in school and I knew not to say H anymore. Ah, yeah. Well, it's so difficult because, you know, every 700 club, Pat Robertson and what's her name, who's been there forever. Pat, of course, has gone on, hopefully, to be with the Lord. Um, it was time for word of knowledge. There's a woman in Cleveland, Ohio, and what have you. And I'm thinking, gee, isn't it nice of God to meet your broadcast schedule, your broadcast demands, you know, every time? He's not busy with something else. So I don't know. I don't know. And then the way to find out is you got to write it all down. You got to study for a year, and and what you'll find is some will be easily to predict things. You know, I think the more we saw Joe Biden in 2024, the more we saw Kamala Harris, the more we had a sense that change was coming to America, and praise God for it. Praise God for it. Doesn't mean I agree with everything Trump ever does, but it's nice to have a real president again. It's been a long, long time, Shelley Belly. I know you agree. She's saying hi to Pastor Bob. Well, just call his cell. Just call his cell. Oh, I could talk about that for a good while. Yeah, me too, Jack. I don't know if everybody else would like it. We have to do an interview on that one. Let's do it. Let's do it. Now I've got to find out how to actually do Zoom. Extended show. Let's no, you I was gonna use a very manly, uh, inappropriate term. You don't shoot your yeah, all at once, you know? You give it to them in little doses because, this is the TikTok generation, not necessarily here because they're some of you. Some of you are older people and your attention span goes longer than 45 seconds, but you know, always leave them wanting more. Always leave them wanting more, Todd. Like, give us a little taste of your musical abilities, but have us have a Jerry Seinfeld talks about this. He says, a comic can be brilliant 45 minutes in, but by an hour and 20 minutes, people are saying, when is this going to be over? When is this going to be over? You know, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to use your PF flyers and run. Thing about your PF flyers, as I remember, they weren't anything like the shoes of today, like my Skechers slip-ons here, the ones with the Goodyear soles. Goodyear makes the soles of the shoes. Why wouldn't you want that, huh? Why can't I be I should try. I should try because I have a different angle than Howie Mandel's going to have, you know? And the way Howie Mandel became an ambassador to Skechers, supposedly, as he walked into a Skechers store, they do have Skechers stores, exclusively Skechers. And he said, "Do I get a discount? I'm an ambassador to Skechers." And they took pictures with him and him holding the box and everything like that. And then they forwarded them on to corporate, who called up Howie Mandel, the owner himself, according to Howie, and said, "Would you like to be an ambassador to Skechers?" Yeah, he said he was an ambassador. He wasn't, but now he is. I don't know if that's the best way. Selena M., I know you by your orange. You're not the only orange person here today. And the President of the United States is not here that I know of, so we wouldn't have three, but we've got at least two orange people. Of course, having said that, Trump is no longer orange, is he? He's kind of blondish. He looks more natural now. His hair is very nice. And Terry, yes, thank you, Selena M. Musin, right? CBN host. Now, for a while, they had this actress. Terry took a break. I seem to remember she was on before this lady, but this was an actress who was on the show Dallas. This will be a hard one to get. Blonde actress, not one of the big ones. Don't say the biggest one, but she was on there in a supporting role. And all of a sudden, she became a born again Christian, and she became the co-host of the 700 Club for a while. If anybody can get this one, I'll be very surprised. But her last episode, it came time for, it's time to receive the words of knowledge and pray for this one and that one. And you could tell before Pat Robertson threw it to her that she wasn't having it this time, that she didn't feel right about it. And she said, "Well, Pat, I just want to pray for people that need this and that." She wasn't going to say, "Rebecca in Baltimore, God's going to do a miracle in your life today. God's going to do a miracle." She just wasn't going to do that. Alfred Hitchcock knew that trick. Just enough, a little here, a little there. The audience will fill in the gaps. Yeah, and you want to really make it so that you have totally enthralled them, and they want to hear more. But if you go on for 45 minutes or an hour on the topic, and I have done this, as you know, in retrospect, it's not the way to do it. It's not the way to have have them wanting to hear more. Darn right, Jack, says Ted Richard. Nice to have someone actually in charge who works on the interest of the people. Amen, amen, amen. Every day, he's a machine. If it turns out that he's a Stepford husband or something, although he wouldn't be a Stepford husband because that would mean he is a robot controlled by somebody else, Donald Trump does his own thing. But I do believe he's more under the control of the Holy Spirit than he ever was before. So nice to have you here, Selena M. Jody Smith, I'm not sure with all the bad weather they are having in Arkansas. So what was the question? I believe there will be significant progress with the new church this year. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the other thing. I don't know. I've had a strange feeling that it won't go past the barn there in that property. I'm not saying Pastor Bob is going to. I don't know. I just wouldn't be surprised if it became Hot Springs and they'd have a bus that would take people over, the regular church members. They keep that little church and they keep the barn that they are working on feverishly. I'm going to talk about this a little bit in a pre-recorded video, but it's funny, Todd Bradshaw, you mentioned Alfred Hitchcock, and I didn't know that Sir Anthony Hopkins had played him. I didn't see it. I've been watching some Anthony Hopkins movies lately, and certainly one of my favorite movies of all times from him is Remains of the Day, where he plays the English butler with that wonderful co-star that was in Howard's End with him, I guess. The British actress, what is her name? Oh, dear. Rear Window's a great movie. Yes. Did you see, did you see, um did you see Superman play the role as well? Christopher? Did you see him, do the remake? I thought it was pretty well done, but you can't beat James Stewart, you know? You just can't beat James Stewart. Loved it, loved it, loved it very much. Yeah, I don't think James Stewart ever did a bad movie, especially after he became famous. Now, I've been watching a lot about Anthony Hopkins and including, biography stuff, and he said that, I don't wanna repeat what I said before. I probably will say a little of what I said before, but, he knew right away that, doing 8 shows a week on Broadway or in the famous Vic place up in, is it London? London, the old Vic, and being just part of the company, doing it for the good of the company, he said, "No, I wanna be a big star. I wanna be a movie star. I don't wanna do the same thing 8 times a week. Try to be brilliant at 2 PM in the afternoon and then be brilliant again, at 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday and a Saturday. I didn't want that. No. I had higher aspirations, nothing against the theater. He's done a little theater, but he likes to play the roles on film. But he knew right away he was gonna be a big movie star. He wasn't gonna stop till he was. So you did see the Christopher Reeve version. Somewhere in Time is, one of my favorite movies too growing up. Yes, I have, been to the Grand Hotel. To the Grand Hotel, beautiful place. I should know where the Grand Hotel is. But, I've only been to, like, a number of places in my life. Um, I stood outside the Waldorf Astoria. The actor Terry Thomas was coming down the stairs. This was like the '70s. Anybody remember Terry Thomas? He had a pencil-thin mustache, was a pretty big star in his day. He looked at me, and the look on his face was, "Please don't bother me. I'm busy." Katina Swatsworth is here. Team SWAT. Welcome, Katina. Hello, everyone. And, see, we're not hearing from Marty. Anybody hear from Marty? Marty! Um, Michigan, huh? That's where it is on McKinnock Island? It's way up there. Huh. Interesting. Robin Roman says ditto. That means same. Uh, Todd, one of my favorites too. Hmm. Yeah. The Cheyenne Social Club was good, Todd. Little risque, but how would you not like a movie with James Stewart and Henry Fonda and Shirley Jones as the main madam of the Cheyenne Social Club? That was a fun movie. Yeah. See, people like Bing Crosby and Henry um, Fonda kind of hid very well that they really weren't that nice, in real life, especially Bing. Hmm. Sandra Fair. Hi, Jack and all. Better late than never. Missed you last week. Missed you Saturday. I was actually on this time last week. But yeah, we didn't get to do Saturday night, and I appreciate you missing me. Um, yeah, we are sending Marty Greco blessings. We'll have to see how he's doing. Um, keep Marty on the prayer list. I said on the promo, pray for my. I used to be McDonald's and he was Burger King, and now I think he's McDonald's and I'm Burger King. Uh, hold on. Oi, it's just a tickle. Tickle is on Moonshiners, you know. He has a restaurant too, somewhere in the Appalachians, West Virginia. Here comes Brad. I can hear him. This guy has had an unbelievable schedule doing taxi work, getting up at 6:15 in the morning doing taxi work, and then at night going all the way up to Villa Roma. And you could have black ice out there, to play the organ 4 nights a week. 71 years old. He'll be 71 on Saturday. More than I probably should be saying, but I do. I have to be very gracious to him, extend grace because he's having a real rough time. Burning the candle at both ends, as they say. Yeah, I mentioned. I know I mentioned that to KETINA that I checked out. Happened to catch Matt Savina's live from last Friday, and he said that he has a reoccurrence of testicular cancer. So pray for Matt Savina. All friendly competition, right? We've actually never spoken, but I want to send him a message. Pray for him. He's a fairly young chap, a lot younger than I. He served this country well in the Marines, and he's a very gifted musician as well. So keep Matt Savina in your prayers. Mackinac. That's a tough one to spell and pronounce. So you get a pass, Jack. Well, is this like a pass to the movie theater? That sounds nice, since movies have gotten so expensive. So many times I've said I'm going to go and see that one in the movies and never got there. I waited until Heretic was on Prime Video, and I waited for the rental charge to come down a bit before I saw that. Very interesting movie. It's going to be on HBO Max very soon. Let's see here. Prayers for Matt, prayers for Brenda Noyce, prayers for the Pope. I don't subscribe to his theology and his opinions, certainly, but prayers for the Pope. Pray that he has a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, because there's no fudging that. A personal relationship with Jesus. And pray for Dennis Prager. Some of you Christians will know exactly who Dennis Prager is, from PragerU, and owner of the Salem Broadcasting Network. I think he's the owner. Noon to 3 is when he's usually on, and I would hear him. I heard him for the first time when I was visiting down in Port St. Lucie, and he's got a very slow delivery, but it's worth listening to. He knows his stuff and what have you. Just took a fall in his house a few months ago. Took a fall in his house, hit his head, injured his spinal cord, and now he can only move from the shoulders up. They think he could make a full recovery, but it's going to take a good while, So that's how easy. You got to really be thinking about, as you get older, your steps. And Karen is concerned with this, because she has balance issues sometimes, and she has taken several falls. And I'm very concerned about her. And it's the same with me. I fell right in this studio, back against the wall, and it took me a while to get up. Thankfully, I didn't get hurt, but falling can put you in a nursing home, and you don't want that. You don't want that. I be the last place I'd ever want to see Karen. I would take care of her, but sometimes you have to go because you need the rehab that they have there. Feel better, Brenda Noyce. I'll pray for you before I go to sleep tonight. pray for Brenda Noyce as well. Um, yes, that's true. Some people do just watch. There's 59 watching now. I don't know if we have 59 names here. I didn't. I didn't. So I certainly haven't counted them, but there are those people. Feel free to use any name you want and say hello. We just ask that you follow YouTube guidelines, it's a reasonable request. We don't mind if you disagree, just be respectful and don't come on with a mission to change anybody because it's probably not going to happen. And, um, you know, like someone showed me, I think it was, oh, yeah, I'm not supposed to say, ha ha ha. See, I caught that. Someone pointed me to this relatively new Elvis group. Bob Joyce is not Elvis Presley and never was. Private group with 1.8K members. And then their rules and what have you. um, it's a private group. Only members can see what's in this group. They're very concerned about that. Visible. Anyone can find this group. Group created November of 2023. And 2 new posts today. Be kind and courteous. No hate speech or bullying. That can mean anything they perceive to be. I'm just talking about any group that puts this. A lot of groups put the same thing, and I don't know these people, so I'm not making judgments about them. I have no idea. But often what happens is that can be anybody who disagrees. And in this case, if you think Bob is Elvis, just stay away. They will probably not be welcoming to that idea. No promotions or spam. Respect everyone's privacy. What's in this group should stay in this group. Well, you can't really control that, but most of the time with groups like this, and I don't know this one because obviously I'm not about to try and join it. Bob Joyce is not Elvis Presley. It never was. I would probably rather have be fitted for a colostomy bag. Colostomy, patata. I'm just saying, not my thing. Not my thing. We try to, we're okay with opposing viewpoints here. It's when people get nasty and want to, be juvenile and what have you. People don't want that here. This is a fun, safe place. A fun, safe place. If you don't believe Bob Joyce is Elvis, that's fine with me. I have no desire to convince you. No desire to convince you. Let's go to the email, Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Todd Bradshaw, who's relatively new to this channel, has been a big encouragement to me. Let me just read what he wrote here. Yeah, okay. He's been a big encouragement to me on a regular basis, the leader of the pack, so to speak, in his generosity. But, there's been so many here. I'm always happy when new people get involved to help me keep this channel on the air because I really don't want to be standing in the front of Walmart, I really don't. Todd Bradshaw on the Cash App sent $40 for Lumi Whole Body Deodorant Fund. Well, that'll be for Karen because I'm into the Mando. Mando is for men. Mando. And Lumi is for women that like to be Lumi, lit up. What's the word? So, yeah, that's a doctor that is the founder of Lumi and Mando. Oh, I think, what is she? She a female doctor, I believe. And gynecologist. Yeah, I think so. And now she's rich off of this, so she's doing real well. But it is Todd writes $40 for Lumi, the whole the whole body deodorant fun. You can put it everywhere, everywhere, and you'll stay fresh. And if you get the Mando, you'll smell like grandma's cedar chest. You will, and I like that. I think I just heard from Marty. Thank you, Todd Bradshaw. This is a tremendous help. Now, if you want to donate on Cash App, that's wonderful. For any amount, it doesn't have to be a large amount, $2, $3. New people that help us out are a tremendous blessing as well. My Cash App handle is MediaGuy56, MEDIAGUY 56, lowercase letters, MediaGuy56. So thank you, Todd Bradshaw, for $40 on the Cash App. Marty, how you feeling? Hi, Jack. I'm starting to feel better. Praise God! Exclamation point. Oh, that's good. I have never been this sick. Huh. So, yeah, because I asked him in the email if this has happened to him before. Some people just, are prone to this kind of stuff. It seems like they never get a break. I thought I was going to die, but you can't keep a good man down. And that's you, Marty Greco. See you after a while, Marty. Well, that's good news. Praise God for that. Answered prayer there, because I've been praying for Marty in my nighttime prayers, and I know many of you have as well. So Marty is on the mend. He's a fairly young man, and he's thin. He's in good shape. So we're hoping soon he'll be up to full speed. Full speed. Just looking at various emails here. Some are short and sweet. Susan telling me about a certain channel. Well, feel free to make a report if you feel that what they're doing is against YouTube guidelines. I can tell you that. Just disagreeing is not that, but hurling accusations, coming to false conclusions, mad because you got blocked because you came on and you were rude to everybody here. Why wouldn't we want more of that? No, you can't be a third grader, come on now. I mean, if you really are a third grader, you could be. We don't ban third graders, but we just ask for someone to follow the YouTube guidelines. So there you go. Back to the live stream. And KETINA is already headed off to dreamland. Sweet dreams, KETINA. Regina wishing her well. Good night, TESS. Thank you, TESS J. It's 11:10 East Coast time on a Wednesday night. Tomorrow is Mr. Washy Washy. Neo is here. Welcome to Wally World. Yes, that was the movie Vacation with Chevy Chase. And when they got there, Wally World was closed. So you're going to have to get past security guards. Let's see, John Candy. Was the other one Eugene Levy? Eugene Levy? Who was the second security guard? I know John Candy was one of them. God rest his soul. Todd wishing good night to Tess and to KETINA. Wally World. Was that one of the lines there, Neo? I mean, you drive all that distance and Wally World is closed, you're not going to be happy, You gotta, things have not been going well on their vacation already, and Grandma eventually ends up dead on the roof of their paneled station wagon. Nancy DeMarco. I'll write him again, respond to his, and I'll tell him you said that, Nancy. You've never been to Wally World, have you, Shelley, being a Canadian? Do you have anything like Wally World? We're talking about Walt Disney World, of course, but in the movie Vacation, it was Wally World. Hmm. Peace out. Yes, I like that. Several DJs used to say that. Also, a nickname for Walmart. I can understand that. If you're going to wear pajamas, make sure they're not stained in the back, okay? I'm sorry I said that, Jackie Organ. Jack, there have been 94,000 hectares burnt by wildfires so far here in our state in Oz. What have been burned? Neo was referring to the comedian who has a dummy named Walter. Well, that's Jeff Dunham, right? Yeah, he's got a new special out, I think. I mean, fairly new. I have been to Florida Disneyland. Well, you should have went to Disneyland. No, you didn't. You didn't go to Disney. You didn't go to Disneyland. No, I can say it with assurance, Shelley. You did not. No, no, no. You would have to go to California for that. For Disneyland or Disneyland, you went to Disney World. You went to a whole other world. You didn't even know it. Did you go to Epcot too? Did you go to the water park? Yeah. And while you were there, did you go to Universal Studios? Did you ride Back to the Future ride? That's been disassembled long ago now. Well, that's cool, Shelley. I'm glad you've been to Florida. Pretty soon you'll be part of America anyway. Jeff Dunham made a joke about Walter working as a door greeter, and you talked about not wanting to work up front. Yes, yes. I would much rather be here with you folks. That's why I'm so thankful for those that hit the thanks button, the like button, because sometimes if we do something like this, it garnishes an audience, but we ain't going to get a 500,000 views. If I get a 500,000 views, or if I get 20, 30,000 views, then I'm doing well. I can say, okay, all right, we're going to be all right. That's right. Get it right, Shelley. Disney World, and it's still one word, not two. And Epcot, you got that right. I'm very pleased, Shelley Billy, from Nova Scotia, Canada. It's a whole new world. Well, it's a small world after all. It's a small world. See, after I go in a small world, I'm going to go right across the way to the teacups and ride the teacups. And then the other way, I don't know if it's like this anymore, but I'm remembering Disney World. Space Mountain was in front of all that. That's the fastest 2.5 minutes of your life right there. But it takes you an hour to get on it. Of course, Shelley would always come in a wheelchair wrapped in bandages to cut the line. I know, Shelley. I've been to Washington. I've been to New York City, says Shelley, but I've never been to me. She's never been to herself. No? Yes, New York City. I haven't been in years now, and as long as Kathy Hochul is governor, I won't be going. Is she going to fire Mayor Adams? It's never been done. Never been done. I was surprised to learn that, where the governor used that power because she is unhappy that he tipped the hat to President Trump and Tom Homan to get vicious criminals out of New York City. I mean, the worst of the worst is what he's going after right now. She took an oath to uphold the state of New York, to protect it, to honor the Constitution as well, and instead she's not doing any of that. She's not doing any of that, and Mayor Adams' popularity is on the rise, and she is seriously considering removing him, We could have had Lee Zeldin. We came that close in New York State. But look what a wonderful job he's doing now in the Trump administration. He just found a whole bunch of fraud debt, a whole bunch of fraud debt. We're talking now, we're in the trillions, we're in the trillions because there's some major thing, and that might have been Lee Zeldin. But I mean, we're talking trillions of dollars of fraud and waste from the past. And this is a bad thing. This is a bad thing. When you have $36 trillion plus in debt and you owe everybody, you've got to make changes. You can't be funding a woke production of Sesame Street in Iraq. $20 million. And there's some that are so outrageous, it's unbelievable. Well, I certainly do remember she was one of the big ones, Jerry Bridges, Charlene Tilton, with her little shorts on. She had like the Daisy Duke shorts, didn't she? From the show with the orange car. What the hell was that now? Oh, this is terrible, Shelley. I put peanuts and apples out for the animals. It's so cold out. Yeah, so you're thinking put out something that won't freeze so much? The peanuts probably wouldn't freeze too much, but oh no, we do a lot of stuff. We have like 4 feral cats. We have a family of raccoons. We found that it's not good to give raccoons cat food for some reason, but dog food is okay. So I buy dog food for the raccoon family. It was really funny last summer. Mama raccoon was very pregnant, looking fatter than she usually does. And all of a sudden one day I look out in the driveway right by my car, and there's Mama looking real proud and 4 baby raccoons next to her. She was showing them where to eat. Soon she was going to regret that decision because she'd be fighting them to get to the food. You know what I mean? But raccoons are cool. They're cool. I was at the Hall of Presidents at Disney, says Todd Bradshaw, once, and the robo Jimmy Carter freaked out and malfunctioned. Oh, but you don't have this on tape, do you? I could get a hit video with that. Oh, I see. No cell phones back then to capture, but it was bizarre. Oh, yeah, that would be probably 250,000 hits, maybe. Yeah, I think so. My daughters have been to Disneyland in Paris, huh? And had a great time. I've heard about that one. Yes. Yes. Haven't heard about it much, though. Well, No Stick Pam is here. Hi, all. I'm late. Well, that's okay, Pam. We're glad you joined the party. Yeah, this was a lesser known actress that was on Dallas that ended up on the 700 Club, whose name I just can't remember right now. Yeah, California is definitely beautiful and worth seeing, but I wouldn't suggest living there. I never felt at home the whole time I lived in California for a year, and I visited like 3 times before that, staying for various, a month, 2 weeks, whatever. I never felt at home there, but I found it very interesting. And when you're a young man looking to sin as I was then, it was all over the place. Debauchery was all over the place, and also interesting things like actors walking past you and TV shows being filmed somewhere down the street. You'd walk down because you saw the film crew down there. That's where I saw James Gardner, filming a scene from the Rockford Files. Yeah. I live near Niagara Falls. I know you're not in Nova Scotia. I knew it all along, Shelley. I was just kidding you. Enjoying a bag of Kirkland butter toffee cashews. Well, make sure you brush your teeth good because they are a dentist's best friend. You'll love him. Who will we love? Or them or him? I don't know. So there you go. 55 watching, 32 likes right now. Is Trump giving people $5,000 in the USA? Well, he just made a comment about with all the money that Doge is finding, maybe there could be interest payments to American citizens, but it's an off-the-cuff statement. And, we have to really catch up with this debt that's being this fraud that's being uncovered that Hakeem Jeffries, not a smart man, not a smart man, but not as vicious as, as Pocahontas or some of the others. But the American people do not want this kind of invasion into their private data. Well, you know, they're not looking to find out what you're texting. They're looking to save billions of dollars in fraud. And the American people were very much for that because they see what's happening to this country. And if you have grandchildren or great grandchildren, or just young children, you want a better world for them than the progressives could ever give them. So I'm hoping that J.D. Vance, when he becomes president, if he should, that he motivates young people to join the Republican Party, as so many did in the well, they voted for Trump either way in the November elections. So many young people came out, all races and creeds, all races and creeds. So Miss Carter joins us. Hi, Susan Carter, and welcome to you. I'm glad you're here. Have you been staying out of the cold? What's it like where you are? I'd really like to see that video, Todd, but I understand you didn't have a computer in your pocket. Even a Instamatic picture would have been interesting of that. Well, you can't carry one of those big Instamatic cameras around with you. We know what they were for back in the day. They were for the naughty pictures. Yeah. The ones you didn't want to bring to that little booth in the middle of the mall parking lot. I won't say Galleria. That predates the word wasn't used in the 70s, but the mall, and everyone always asks, where does that guy in that little photomat booth, where's he go to the bathroom? Well, I don't think it's the same way the beautiful young ladies go to the bathroom when they're standing in Times Square for 15 hours. I don't think it was that, but maybe obviously it would have been in some cases, now that I think about it. So there you go. Somebody type something, because I'm seeing Love Trump and I want to see something after that. Maybe my chat froze. You never know. Don't worry, I won't leave you if it has. I'll just go to the channel stream and I'll see it there without the count. So 61 watching. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Somebody type. There we go. Thank you, Shelley. I got scared. But you gave me 5 pink hands. 5 pink hands, and that's good. Let us know if you're just checking in where you are. Please hit the subscribe button, the like button. The more people that hit the like button, the more people will see this video, the notification bell. So if you're near your device, you'll get a notification usually, and you'll be able to join us, because sometimes we just pop on to pop off. That means I got to do one of those because I haven't done one in a while. I can't say it if I don't do it. I've never been to Spain, Ted Richards, but I kind of like the Beatles. I don't know. Have you heard of them? There are these 4 guys from Liverpool. Yeah. And I was just seeing a story on Ringo. When Ringo's on tour. He don't want too many off days, He wants to be playing every night when possible. But when you get the people that are in his all-star band, like Edgar Winter, the fact that Edgar's still alive is amazing, And he needs a day off here and there. He needs a day off. But they really try to practice peace and love. Ringo wants everybody to get along well. He makes sure that the roadie gets the same good accommodations as he does, as Ringo does, and all the musicians, the manager, etc., etc. Wednesday night, early bedtime, Jack. Really? For you, Shelley? Okay, you must have an appointment in the morning, huh? Because you are, if I come on at 1 a.m, Shelley's usually there. I humbly say I was on the net back in 1985. the year I got married for the first time. Ted, Todd, Ted, Todd. Um, Commodore 64. It was just the nerds back then. Commodore 64. It was just the nerds back then, and the net was clean. Is this where you'd hear the dial up? That kind of thing? Yeah. I got to be soft with my comments because Brad really needs to sleep. This poor guy. He's in over his head. I just hope he doesn't quit the day job for the night job, because it's going to be hard to hold on to the night job. I should have explained that to him more. I won't say why. If you ask me, it was better back then without cell phones. Double Origato, Mr. Roboto got it right. Really, yeah. That's one of those songs. No, Too Much Time on My Hands, I think, was written in an airport. I guess it was Tommy Shaw that just started to hear bum 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 bum. I'm not doing it right, but the start to Too Much Time on My Hands. It just started ringing in his head, and he knew he had to start writing stuff down. And there's been a number of songs that have been written in airports, waiting in airports. Double Origato, Mr. Roboto. I like the song, but it would never be a favorite Styx song. So much strife between Dennis DeYoung and Tommy Shaw. And as I listen to the band members talk about Dennis DeYoung, I can see their point. He was very difficult. Dennis is still out there doing his thing. Of course, it's tough to see a band without their lead singer, because Dennis sang most of the big hits of Styx. And when you hear Babe, you want to hear Dennis singing it, We've got a group called Tusk coming March 8th to the Paramount Theater down the road, a Fleetwood Mac tribute band. They're kind of running into each other. They're colliding. There's so many of these tribute bands now, and at least 3 Fleetwood Mac bands out there. But Elton and Billy, it's often in a dual show. You got the one guy doing Elton, another guy doing Billy. There's that. Johnny Mathis has just announced a tour date in not too far from where I am. I really would like to see that, but my budget, so I did the taxes today. I was scared to death. Karen had her taxes done because she needs it for assistance she gets with the school taxes. Normally she wouldn't have to file, but I saw my tax lady on Monday, and I went in with Karen for her appointment, and just asked her a few questions for my Wednesday appointment, which was today. And she could see I was really worried, what I was going to be hit with, because I didn't really save for the people that hit the thanks button in the Cash App. And now I'm thinking I'm going to have this big, huge sum where I'm going to be paying, $1,500 back, $1,800. I didn't want to have to do that. Certainly didn't want to have to work out payment plans or max one of my credit cards out to be able to do it. Didn't want that. But it wasn't that at all, which is a real testimony as to proof that my income is really low, because, I'm actually getting a little back, but by the time you pay my tax woman's fee and what have you, I'm in the red, but just a little. So most of you that in 2024 hit the thanks button or hit the Cash App, I did not have to give the money back today. So I was very happy about that. 100% legit. And was very happy. But now we are in a new year. And so I'm very grateful for those that are hitting the thanks button, and the Cash App, which is lowercase letters Media Guy 56, Media Guy 56 for any amount. That helps me get a certain amount that I can squeeze by with every month as I deal with an unexpected expense concerning my pension that started in 2022 and will go on for the rest of my natural life. Oh boy. So, and as a creator, being known essentially for one topic because it's your favorite topic, um, I have to keep searching for new ways and new information and what have you. But then there's also the conviction, just leave the man alone. I think it's a fascinating story that you had to expect it would be told and that people would continue to be interested in the topic. But, and of course, I try to say many positive things about household of faith and what have you. I love it when people email me their story of their visit to household of faith. If you haven't done that, and you'd like me to broadcast what you're saying, especially, you can leave out what you don't want to put in. My personal email is jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy at gmail.com. Also, if you see something in a public Bob Joyce, Elvis group that you think I may not be aware of, let me know about it. jackthefairguy, F-A-I-R, jackthefairguy at gmail.com. We always need to think about new content. Most of you know I'm not in the business of trying to do anything more than excerpts from Household of Faith. They have a copyright right there. Excerpts, fair use when you're doing what is essentially an entertainment news story. That's reasonable. Putting up a whole video, and I don't see it. I don't see that as the right thing to do just because you don't think you're going to get a copyright strike because they don't do that. That's for me, and yet one of my competitors, not the one that you think I'm referring to, one of my competitors put up the whole version of "Can't Help Falling in Love." Well, they probably both did, and it's got almost 250,000 views off of it. I just that would have not have occurred to me to do that because I would have thought that was over the line. That's not fair use. So you're relying on the grace of the copyright holders there. Wow, a lot of people writing big stuff here. Still have the disk drives and games, keyboards, etc. packed away. Even a TRS-80 with TRS-DOS operating drive. Oh my goodness. And second drive for programs, fun machines. Let me ask you a question, Ted Richards. Have you ever heard of Game Square? Game Square, the company Game Square. I can't tell you. It's a new upcoming especially for newer gamers. Have you ever heard of the Game Square company? Anybody as well? Todd Bradshaw replies, I love to hear that back then it was Quantum Link. Yes, Quantum Link, which was the precursor to America Online. Love ham radio, making me think of the late Art Bell right now, Todd Bradshaw. Glad we have that in common. Well, yes. But what did I say? Jeez. Hold on a second. Double origato, Mr. Roboto. Now that's stuck in my head, Todd. And I can't get it out of my head. Da 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 da, can't get it out of my head. Mm-hmm. Game Square, yes, Game Square. Company out of Frisco, Texas. Anybody been to Frisco, Texas? That is where Game Square is. Has anybody heard of it? I'd really like to know if you have. Okay. Back in the day, it was Sunshine and Lollipops by Leslie Gore. Yes, that's Leslie Gore. It's my party and I'll cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. That's enough. Not a gamer, Jack, me either. And not familiar with that company, okay? Anybody familiar with Game Square? Hi, Jack. Nice bear behind you. Yes, he's a very docile bear. I don't have to clap or anything to keep him away. That only works with some bears, as Jamie Lissau will tell us. I have heard of Game Square, Jack. It's passed around some of the techies I know. I can email you about it. Well, Todd, let's put it this way. I would love you to email me about it. Sure, I've been looking at it. I wish them much success. Do you know what I'm trying to say here and not say it? I wish Game Square tremendous success. A lot of people seem to think they will have tremendous success. Please, God, let them have success. It feels like 3 degrees. I think you know what I mean now, Todd. It feels like it's 3, but it feels like 11. Weather just updated. That's not exactly something that can brighten your night, is it? Oh boy, it feels like 11, so no big deal. No big deal. Temperature here now? I don't know. I got the S&P average. It's 15 degrees right now. It says it's cold outside. Thank God they gave me this information. I wouldn't have known otherwise. It'll be going down as the night goes on. Be 13 by 4 a.m. Be 13 by 4 a.m. Appeals court leaves block on Trump's birthright citizenship order in place. Some of the appeals courts, surprisingly, are voting for, including that Judge Shuckton, who was against him before, I guess concerning his legal situation. Now she wants to gain favor. I don't know. I'm just asking. But they are backing Trump up. It doesn't have to go to the Supreme Court if it's not down in the appellate's court, you know. Did you see that interview with Sean Hannity and President Trump and Elon? Very good interview. I haven't seen all of it. I was doing the pre-recorded promo before it started to air at 9 p.m., but by the time I got over there, it was about 9:20. And so I saw a little bit of it. I did. Is that Ted Richards bear behind you, Jack? I think his name is Brett. That bear. Brett Bear. Actually, I got that joke from the new Secretary of the Interior. It's not really a joke. Doug Burgum and his eyebrows are now in Washington, D.C. in a beautiful studio, and Brett Bear was right there, and he's taking him for a tour of the office, and here is a full-size bear that's visited the taxidermist right there. And Doug Burgum looks at the anchor who's doing the interview, and he says, by the way, we have officially, and we're going to have a plaque, his name is Brett Bear. Love Brett Bear. He did the speech at my daughter's graduation at Mount St. Mary College many moons ago. I was there for that. Those were the days, my friend. I thought they'd never end, but they did. The rest of Canada is snow. We don't have snow. After 2 weeks ago, we got a dumping of snow. It all melted, says Angelo Da Concenzo. No, I didn't say it right. I gave it a shot, though. Good night, Deborah Lake. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you're well. Just checking the feed here. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it would be wonderful to get money back, but I didn't have any expectations of that. I declared everything and ended up maybe in the red by $15 or something like that after pay the fee, for the taxes. My tax lady had to deal with YouTube, Google YouTube. She had to deal with the Cash App activity. She had to deal with Robinhood. She had to deal with my pension. She had to deal with Social Security, and she charged me a very reasonable fee for all that. So there you go. I was very happy. Sure, I could have used some money back. It would have been nice, but it just wasn't in the cards, So, when you do like a promo that I did for this video and it gets 300 views, it's usually going to be the hardcore audience. If I have 9,800.5 subscribers right now, as I do this live show on the 19th of February, 2025, that means a very tiny fragment of those subscribers care enough to watch that promo. And that's trouble for me. It means I got to be, the creator must create. I must think of new things. And it would be nice to think of things outside the Bob Joyce topic that got a lot of hits, So you're always looking at things. And sometimes it means calling Andy up here quickly to help me to put something up. But thank you for those that have been hitting the thanks button tonight right here. If you're watching the replay, our biggest audience usually, but I don't know about tonight because I'm not going to have a provocative title. This is more family oriented, core audience oriented. Family is what they are, though. But they don't always have the thanks button right away there, but you can always find it in another video. And anyone who hits the thanks button before the last day of February or the last day of February, interestingly enough, that payment from Google and also possibly from Cash App is a different animal, but from Google, that comes on my 69th birthday, March 21st. March 21st, I will be 69, 1 year away from the big 7-0. Oh dear. Yeah, hard to believe. I'm not going to do any 69 jokes. I won't do it, Todd Bradshaw, no matter how much you try to provoke me. I don't think we heard. Someone was saying Richard earlier, but I never saw him. He must have snuck in real quick. Unless I don't think you were talking about Ted Richards. So, blending the old with the new. Sometimes I think that's where it's all headed as the grand story closes. Yeah. I was very sure we were extremely close during the Biden-Harris administration, but I think God did hear the pleas of his people crying out to him to acknowledging their own sin and crying out to him for mercy on America, a second chance for America. And that could, the Lord is allowed to change his mind about everything. People say, well, he can't go back on his word. He can change his mind. I'm pretty sure of that. and he'll have mercy on who he wants to have mercy on, you know. That's a very complicated subject, and one that we humans will never fully comprehend. I know people, you know, like Andy is a big time gamer. He's on the Twitch, if that's still around, and other things, you know, and he's Warcraft, Minecraft, whatever it is. You know, he's done it all. He used to play Dungeons and Dragons in person with his friends back in the day before I knew him. And you know, it's not something that ever appealed to me. Playing video games per se, it's just not for me. And the older you get, and you know, you realize your time is limited. Of course, I'm on the 4th round of watching Dark Shadows, the original TV show. Karen and I are still hooked, and you know, you can only explain that to another Dark Shadows fan. That's just the way it is. So if you haven't checked in yet, please do before we say goodnight. I don't want to end too early. Very few shows obviously do what we do and do live streams that last 2 hours. It's hard to do it on Saturday night because we start to have problems if we don't crash completely, because a lot of people are streaming, and I think the message is don't go 2 hours and 20 minutes on Saturday. It's not the right night to do it. 69 Jack, 69 love affair. And then you're mentioning that name again. Is that person here? Maybe it's TESS J, huh? I can usually tell by the writing if I really concentrate. But no, so that's not, I don't think. TESS J said, just missing my husband terribly. It's left my life wrecked in many ways. Yeah, see, only people that have experienced that know that degree of a stabbing pain and how it's with you every day. It's hard. You can say, you know, you can say this and you can say that, but I know that the person who has experienced the loss of a spouse, the loss of a child, etc., they know real mourning. Mid-South Express, good evening. How are you, Mid-South Express? I haven't heard from you in the emails. Your emails are usually pretty interesting. Give me some stuff if you got it. If you got some good stuff. I'm always looking for content. We had the next 25 years planned and never, ever thought of either of us dying. He used to say, I'm not going anywhere without you. And when we go, we'll go together. Yeah, it's like that song. Then you and I, as the world goes slowly, stops turning, spinning slowly down to die, then you and I will simply fly away. I might have missed some lyrics there, but that's If by Bread. Also, there's a spoken version by Telly Savalas. Wasn't terrible. You know, he's Telly Savalas. He was anyway. I stood for hours to meet Telly Savalas by his trailer that I knew he was coming out of when I was visiting L.A., downtown L.A., because they were trying to make it look like New York City for Kojak. They used to shoot in New York City, then they moved to L.A. because, you know, the weather was much more conducive to shooting, but now you're trying to avoid the palm trees coming up in Kojak. And so we saw them shoot with Kevin Dobson. Remember him from Kojak? He shot a scene where he walks in front of a car. The car's going like 2 miles an hour, but they're going to speed up the tape, and he's going to push off, and he's going to fall away onto a mat that you're not going to see that's on the concrete. And he did it a couple of times, and they they were happy with it. More orange. I love the orange. Um, so we saw that, and then we understood that there was more to come, and people were walking up to this up the hill in downtown LA. There's a lot of hills, and we heard that Telly Savalas was in one of those trailers. So I just stood there with everybody else and waited, and we would find out that they were going to shoot in a bar. They were going to shoot a scene with Telly as Kojak in a bar down the way. So finally, after about an hour and a half of waiting, the trailer door opens and there's people in front of him, and here comes Mr. Telly Savalas with the hat and everything, dressed as Kojak. And as he waves, and as he's walking down the street, even the bums that were laying on the ground were saying hello and giving him a sign of respect. They knew Kojak too. So that was wonderful. Never got to talk to the man, but that was cool. It was worth the wait. Yeah, I've lost parents and grandparents, and that was bad. But this is just beyond description. What happened, Tess? Why did he pass away? Todd Bradshaw expresses condolences. So sorry to hear about your loss, Tess. I've told Jack and others it's just the beginning of the story in the big picture, and we'll see loved ones again soon. And there's concrete proof of that too. There's concrete proof of that. I don't think I want to go into that right now, but we know that this is not the end. There is some coming soon, says Mid-South. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. 24-hour live stream. Well, then it'll have to be like, I'm going to be so spent after that. My voice is going to be gone. That's going to have to be under the guise of also a telethon, a internet-thon, a YouTube. I can't say that. Internet-thon. No, I don't think they'd like that either. So that meet the budget in 24 hours. I could call it that. Meet the budget in 24 hours, and I'd try to bring the best content I could for as much of it as I could. Tess tells us that that she and her husband had bought property and were rehabbing an older mobile to flip it, and he got sick and died right in the midst of it. So I'm sitting here in a mess. Yeah, I hope you have a support group, friends in your life and what have you that can be there for you and help you in this time, that are nearby. He was healthy as a horse, not even a bad cold in 20 years. He got sick, diagnosed. He went to the doctor, and they diagnosed him with an aggressive cancer. Diagnosed April 3rd and was gone by May 4th. Yes, those kind can be pancreatic, can be blood cancer, and things like that, and they're gone so fast. One of the things I find myself doing and following is these well, they're both women and men on Facebook, that are battling stage 4 cancer or stage 3 cancer. One of them's first name was Bailey Hutchings, right? Bailey Hutchings. She's got a lot of videos up in the Reel section. Believer in Christ, praying for, God's healing, also admitting that she was terrified and what have you, and talking about the various treatments. And had just gotten married, had a nice wedding a few years back, and then I guess it was last week her husband came on and said that she had passed away. So I don't understand these things. They're way above my pay grade. But just so thankful um, for the people God places in your life and the promises God has made. But they're not always promises for this earth, you know. But he said, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. But when we lose a loved one, it feels like we've been forsaken. We're human beings. Yeah, you think by now, but it seems like we're inventing new cancers with our diet, right? We're inventing new cancers with the amount of alcohol and diet soda, regular soda, even more so, and that kind of thing. Oh, that's very nice. You guys are my support system. I have no family. Oh dear. See, that makes something like this even more special. It makes it even more special. Um, um, I can't do Bob Joyce every time I open up the microphone. You know, I can't. I don't think it's the right thing for me to do, to be honest with you. But when we have something that, since I do the topic, I'll continue to tell the story unless the Lord tells me to stop. And sometimes I'm praying about, should I stop, Lord, you know, which will mean that we'll be down to 200 or 300 people. And I'll be looking for that next magic topic. And I don't want, you know, you see so many videos here where they're putting up fake titles for clickbait. They'll show a picture of Robert Redford. You know this woman I'm talking about. She seems like a nice person, but she puts up several pictures of Robert Redford the other day. People who died today, and she gives the date. And all indication is, oh my God, Robert Redford died. Well, he didn't. He didn't. She even had Michael J. Fox up in one of her thumbnails. Give me a break. Give me a break. You know? And sure enough, it's working. It's working. And then she's telling you about some German actress you don't, or singer, who was extremely heavy. And um, she's telling you about her death. You know, she's got the top 15, and maybe out of the top 15, you might know one or two of them. It really, really is coming up on the midnight hour already. Good night, Todd. Midnight time. Got to grab the freshly made donuts. Funny you say that, Ted Richards, because there's a place in Florida, New York, where there's a large Polish community, including the Polka King, Jimmy Sturr, who's Irish. He'll be in Florida soon, opening up the Strawberry Festival on Thursday, the Thursday of next week. And then he'll go to the Opera House outside the Villages for an afternoon show on Friday. It begins with a W, the place. I can't think of it. And then Saturday at the Polish Club in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I've been there several times to see Jimmy Sturr. I can't do it this year. It's not in the budget. But so they have this authentic Polish place in Florida, New York, that makes Polish donuts. They only make them at certain times of the year. And my friend Sean, our friend Sean and Norma Byrne are going to get us some Polish donuts because that's what I need. I need some Polish donuts. And they're even going to drop them off. Maybe at Mr. Washy Washy's laundromat, because that's where we could be. We're often there on Thursdays. So in Round Rock, M. Silva would know this. In Round Rock, they have Round Rock donuts. And I haven't had one in a few years because that's how long it's been since I've been to Texas, and I got to get back there. So, I need to have some travel money to see my son, and I would love to be able to go to another place and see my daughter if I was given the opportunity. My grandchildren, I would love to do that. Please pray about that if you could. So, this channel being viable, not a large amount like the big boys are making, but staying viable is very important. So I don't have to worry about, doing something else instead of this. I can stay right here where I think I belong. Well, Todd, I don't know about eating donuts after midnight, but how about in the morning with your cup of Crockett coffee? That's the brand of Clay Travis from Clay and Buck. Clay and Buck, he has the Crockett Coffee Company, I believe. And Tess is saying that her husband died 2 days before their 25th anniversary. So instead of celebrating, I was at the mortuary planning his cremation. Yeah, cremation is going to be my choice too. It's going to be my choice too. So thank you and God bless you, Tess. Get my very heavy Bible that I call my Miracle Bible. My Miracle Bible, because I found it under a tree when I was doing my power walking last year or the year before. And it was an incline that I had been up and then went back up and down again. And as I was coming down the second time, not the first time, I saw it right there in perfect condition under the tree. I could swear it wasn't there the first time I did the walk up the incline and then down. And it obviously hadn't been there long because there had been some bad weather. Let me try the other glasses. Saturday night, 10 p.m. East Coast time. Saturday night, 10 p.m. East Coast time. For Worldwide Ramblings. Just look up something. All right. Go to the Gospel of Matthew. Gospel of Matthew, beginning with verse 11 in the New King James Version. Now it came to pass when Jesus finished commanding his 12 disciples that he departed from them. He departed from there to teach and to preach in their cities. And when John had heard in prison about the works of Christ, he sent two of his disciples and said to him, Are you the coming one, or do we look for another? Jesus answered and said to them, Go and tell John the things which you hear and see. The blind shall see, and the lame will walk. The lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear. The dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. And blessed is he who is not offended because of me. Verse 32, Matthew 10, Therefore, whoever confesses me before men, him I will confess before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, him I will also deny before my Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against his mother, and a daughter-in-law against his mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. So Jesus wants to be first in our hearts. He's not the parsley on the plate. He's not the person to tip on a Sunday. He wants to be who he is, the Alpha and the Omega, and he promises eternal life. He promises eternal life to his children. So pray for TESS, pray for Brenda, pray for Matt SAVINA, who has testicular cancer, and pray for Dennis Prager, who's somewhat paralyzed after falling in his house, and pray for others here in our family. And you can always list the prayers in the the replay version of this show. Worldwide Ramblings for this Wednesday, now into Thursday morning, the 20th of February, 2025. So glad that you've all joined me. I appreciate you all so very much. And I'll talk to you, if not before, Saturday night at 10 p.m. live for another edition of Worldwide Ramblings.